All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Daily December 2021. This is actually day 9. I am late by a few hours, so it's not a horrible thing, but I am late. Last year was the first year where I literally put out a video every single day on the day it happened. This year I've missed one day, which isn't really that big a deal because due to how my sleep schedule is right now, like I go to sleep between like 8 and 10 in the morning, and then I'll wake up at 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And so that means that I have to get my effectively the first thing I do most mornings is to do my video, and I just couldn't this morning. So yes, technically this is chronologically the wrong time, but it's still the same day for me, so I'm not that upset about it. So update on the game last night. I ran the Strange RPG system for the first time ever. And this is one of the reasons why I tend to tell people that the best way to learn an RPG is to play it or to run it. And the reason why is I went and I built 4 different characters for my players so that they had characters, and I read this adventure like 3 or 4 times. I read it all the way through. And I thought I knew the system pretty well, or as well as you can without actually running it. And then I started playing it, and once you start playing it, that's when you start to realize exactly what's important and what really isn't. And the big thing for me, that as soon as it kind of clicked, I'm like, oh, this is super awesome, is the GM intrusion aspect of the Cypher system in general, but the Strange has it as well because it's part of this system. Basically, when the players are doing something, the GM can do an intrusion where he gives the players XP, and XP is complicated in that. XP is a combination of something that you use to level up your characters, and it's also something that you use in the game as a currency for doing a bunch of different things. So GM can basically give out XP because they're going to make something more difficult for the players. Basically, they're going to add a twist or something like that. And the first time I did it was one of the players, they were supposed to effectively do surveillance on this house. And they eventually realize the dude isn't there, and so they try to break. They're at this particular point, they're trying to figure out if the dude is even there or not. So one of them gets the bright idea of picking up some pizzas and going to pretend to be the delivery guy to try and see if they can get in contact with this guy and see if he's actually there. He doesn't answer, so he goes all the way around trying to just figure out if they can break into the house. Well, the intrusion that I did was I said, okay, I'm going to intrude. A cop shows up, flashes light on you, says, hey, get over here. Let me see your hands. Get over here. And so as soon as I did that, I went, whoa. Basically, in most RPGs that I've run, if the DM just throws in shit to mess with the players, it isn't already a part of it, that doesn't make sense. It just throws it in to make it to make things more difficult for the players. It's kind of considered a dick move for the DM to do that, or the GM to do that. Because, you know, especially if the players are doing well or something like that, and you just put something in to make it harder for them. It kind of punishes the players for doing whatever that they're doing. But the Cypher system is built around that, and it actually rewards the players for allowing the GM to do one of these intrusions, because they get a point of experience. And in order to get up to the next level effectively if you didn't spend experience on anything other than effectively leveling your character up. You only need, I believe, 12 experience to go from each level, which are tiers in Cypher System. There you go. So it's not like so giving them effectively what happens is you give the player 2 experience points, and they have to give one of those experience points away to someone else. And so it's a really interesting system because I get to basically inject experience into the game, which gives them a chance to do cool things. And I get to add a complication. I get to, change things up. And then when we were going again, I added another intrusion because one of the players was basically describing how he was trying to kind of protect us. And so I'm going to put an intrusion in here. I'm going to make it more difficult, but because of this intrusion, the rest of your allies are going to be more protected against this person because you are physically blocking them with your body. And I thought it was pretty interesting and cool. So, yeah, I just overall, it was really fun. It was really interesting. It took a while to get, because again, most systems I've run, the GM randomly changing things to make things harder on the players is the wrong thing to do. I would generally recommend against that. The Cypher system is built around that. And the way that you get around the idea of it just being a dick move is it is as beneficial for the players, for the GM to use an intrusion as it is for the GM to do it. And I really like that idea. I really like the fact that you would think making things more difficult would be would create like an antagonistic relationship between the players and the GM. But part of the Cypher system is just you kind of accept this idea that difficulty is going to tell, making things more difficult and failures and things like that are going to help you to tell a better story. And it's kind of baked into the Cypher system. And I very, very strongly support the idea of failure and negative things happening to the players tells a much more enjoyable story than the players always winning. Bad things happening to your character are good. It gives room for the character to grow and for the plot to progress and things like that. So I like that. And in other systems, it is a little bit hard to have bad things happen to your player without the players feeling it's their fault. Like in D&D, when bad things happen to the players, there's really only 2 ways that I've ever seen it happen in D&D. One is the GM railroads them into something bad happening, which players don't like being railroaded. They just flat out don't. It's not fun. The whole reason you play tabletop RPGs is because you have control over everything and you get to make whatever choices you want. And as soon as the GM takes away those choices, it's not fun anymore, and you're kind of breaking the social contract. The other way is for the players to actually do badly, which can happen. But as you get better players, they will tend to make less mistakes. They may intentionally do things wrong, but they make less and less mistakes as they become better players. And so bad things happening just because of the roll of the dice is remarkably few. Like, you really have to get a lot of bad rolls in a row for actual bad things to happen to your characters. And so the better your players are, the less kind of bad things happen to them unexpectedly. And the Cypher system, I think, deals with that really, really well. You kind of go into the system with the idea of, okay, we're going to work together to tell this kind of cool story, and we're going to agree that bad things are going to happen and more difficult things are going to happen. And that's going to be good for everybody. And so I thought that was really interesting and fun. So yeah, reminder, next week we're doing the Avatar Legends Quick Start Guide. I can't remember if, I think I did. In my last video, the one I posted on Wednesday today, It should have a link to the Quick Start Giga Guide. Feel free to pick it up. It's free. You just have to sign up to their mailing list, which again isn't that big a deal. I'm on it, and I think I get one email from them every couple of weeks or so, maybe once a month. So it's really not that but bad, and I like it. It's cool. If you want to play, like I said, for right now, I'm sticking to Twitter. I'm hoping maybe by next week, I don't know, to have my Discord server set up. I already have a Discord server, and I use it for my D&D games. I have separate channels for each Giga game that only those players are allowed in, so they can chat with each other between games. And so I'm trying to set up the rest of the server so that people that are interested in just playing games in general and playing in my games can have a server where we can all hang out and you know, talk about fun stuff and do that. So I eventually wanted to do that, and eventually I'll be switching over to Discord for doing this, but it takes a while for me to do that. So anyway, so right now, message me on Twitter. My DMs are open, so anyone, I believe you don't even have to follow me. You can just message me. That's how one of my players actually did it. I may have another player that'll be joining, another new player that may be joining. I haven't talked to them, but they reached out for the last one just a little bit late. So yeah, I'm excited to meet new people. I'm excited to try new systems and things like that. Like I said, I've already found something really interesting from the first system that I ran that I really liked. So yeah. Otherwise, that's going to be all for me today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right? Bye-bye.